This is the Bush Whisperer coming at you from the beautiful Water's Edge Beach, right next to the Penguin Sanctuary. Sharing the most beautiful and gorgeous morning. I don't know if you can see it, but the moon stands behind me. Can we see the moon? Where's the moon? There's the moon. Beautiful. So we're going to have that really auspicious time of day where the moon and the sun are halfway. Probably about 20 minutes till the sun actually rises, or 15 minutes. And, or perhaps a little less. So I've come to talk to you today about the spirit of the horse. The spirit of the horse. Wow, there's a story. There's a profound history between horses and humans. Horses have always been a very important part of our lives. Before we had cars, they were our primary form of communication. Our primary way to transport equipment, food, resources. They were important for exploration. Having a horse was like having a car. It was a sense of freedom and a sense of power. For a horse is an incredibly powerful animal. It's pure power and grace put into a single form, if you want to really consider what a horse symbolizes. The synergy of power and grace. For a horse, when it runs, is an incredibly graceful animal. The way it gallops, the way that it flows with rhythm. Oh, and it's very shamanic. Because of the rhythm, the rhythmic running pattern, it can put you into a trance. If you've ever been on the back of a horse and it's running, it's such a lovely feeling and such a lovely sound, the hooves. So for this purpose, horses have always been close to shamans' hearts. And they've always been close to everybody's hearts, to be fair with you, being so fundamental for our civilization that we've built here. So from a shamanic perspective, the horse symbolizes power. Power, dynamic grace, and freedom in a single package. And so by connecting with the spirit of the horse, one connects with the spirit of power, freedom, and grace. And probably primarily power. For horses were considered a real boon militarily. If one had horses, one had a serious edge in terms of war in the old times. So horses were always considered as a symbol of power, and in the Arabic lands, very, very important, horses. In fact, all around the world, horses were important. And then we have the mythical horses. We have the Pegasus. And the Pegasus was, well, it's a Jupiterian steed, if you would, and could fly up to the heavens. So there's an element of the horse representing the ability to be free of the body as well. When the horse has wings, it's free of the body. Those of you that have had guides like this, you're very, very privileged. What a beautiful consciousness to connect with. And then, of course, you get the horse with the horn, which is bringing the power of Saturn, understanding the nature of the cosmic reality that we live in, and the formative forces, the creative forces, which is the essence of the fourth principle of the Hermetics, which is the divine principle of the shaman. The shaman regulate their lives and live their lives by the principle of rhythm. And the principle of rhythm could be often symbolized as a horn. The horns of Saturn. For Saturn has always been considered to be the lord of time. And Saturn has always been depicted in terms of animalistic forms, having horns. The goat has always been very close to the heart of Saturn. For the goat is also an animal of incredible power and bravery and ferocity, that it can climb the side of a cliff, jump up the side of cliffs, up a mountain. If you've ever watched wild goats climb a mountain, you will sit on the edge of your seat and hold your breath, praying that this creature doesn't fall. And when they fall, they fall. They fall down a 100-meter cliff. They fall 15, 20, 30 meters at a time, and they catch on with their hooves, and they sort of fall and catch on and fall and catch on, and you see this thing going down the side of the mountain until somehow it gets hold of the mountain. Tenacity, they do not give up. Goats are as staunch as they get, which is why the goat is also the male and the if I can call it the bull goat, is the symbol of Aries, the physical form, of tenacity, of, the ram. Ram is a kind of a goat if you consider it. If you've ever seen a ram, you'll be humbled. That's not a creature you'll mess with. They will launch themselves at you with what we call in South Africa kopstamp, which is one of these, and they will kill you in a single shot. Animals have respect for ram. All animals. Even a lion wouldn't mess with a ram, not face to face. A ram will put a lion down. Believe it. So, because they will launch themselves like a single blow that will knock that lion out cold. So, the horse is symbolic of freedom in a sense. And when the horse is the unicorn, it's a symbolic of freedom of physical form and knowledge of power, of magic, of the spiritual essences that can transcend the physical form and build new forms. And when the horse has wings, it's the symbolic form of a horse that can transcend matter and travel to the realms of heavens, to the three worlds of the shaman. That this horse can transcend the physicality and move between the spiritual and physical kingdoms in the way that the shaman does, having mastered the three elements. This is the symbolic form of having wings, by the way. And this is why the shaman have feathers. Shaman love feathers because shaman have a very close connection with birds. The birdman, as I like to talk about it. If those of you that have connected with the birdman will understand exactly what I'm talking about. It's a deep shamanic trance thing. And so the bird's feathers are symbolic of this ability to transcend form and travel out into the cosmic consciousness through the three aspects of travel, the three aspects of the world. And so we have the horse with horns, or the unicorn, the horse with wings, and the horse itself, which is between the two extremes. So the horse is the symbol also of, in a sense, the dynamic polarity of power, in as much as it brings together the harmony of power and of grace. And when we consider what grace has got to do with moving within the limitations that is presented in the most economical and practical way. And when one does this, it looks really beautiful. When one can dance without effort and one's body becomes like a bird, it looks beautiful and graceful to those watching. But to the person doing it, it just feels effortless, because it's just your body flowing the way it wants to flow in the most economic, practical way, using the totality of ergonometry at disposal in the most useful and realistic way. And that's basically how I consider grace. So the horse is also a very deep symbol. When one is connecting to the cosmic consciousness represented by the horse, which is actually a living being. And in the shamanic law, this is a very profound connection. You hear a lot about the elk, you hear a lot about the goat, you hear a lot about rabbit, you hear a lot about the lion or the it depends where you are. In African shamanism, you hear about the lion. You go across the ocean, you hear about other big cats. But the big cats are always really important. That's the solar power. The horse, though, we're speaking about an element of the Jupiterian power and an element of the Saturnian power, but essentially the Jupiterian power. The unicorn brings Saturn into the picture in a small role, but it's essentially Jupiter's expansive force, which leads to freedom, which leads to transcendence, if you will. In this way, the horse is a symbol of spirituality in its most direct form, because it relates to how power can be used in order to generate the harmony of grace, and how being graceful brings one back to one's freedom through the use of power in the most practical and realistic way. Honor is another thing related to horses as well. We have sayings in English like, never look a gift horse in the mouth. And this is quite an interesting point, because the idea of a gift horse is considered to be such a boon, such good luck. If someone gives you a horse, was a really good omen in old times. When horses come to you in the wild, that's a good omen. There are places in the UK and England where you can go and you can be with the horses and they will come to you. I used to go to Wales to spend time with the horses every year. Those aren't the wild ones. If you go closer to the center of the country, you can actually be with the wild horses. They're really beautiful. They're small, but they're beautiful horses. And they come close to you when they understand that you mean them no harm. And if you understand horse talk, which is something that the shaman do appreciate, how to communicate with horses, if you want to learn, watch them, observe them, see how they communicate with each other. Become one with their communication stream and flow with them. Never approach a horse head on. Always approach a horse from the side. And always give them an opportunity to come to you from the side and from behind. A horse is a creature you can trust. A horse is a creature of integrity. A horse is a creature of honor. A horse is a creature that knows respect. These are elements of power. For power comes with these elements. These are the necessary elements to uncover the power within. So I think I've given you a little bit of an insight about the power of the horse. For those of you that are connecting with the power of the horse, all I can say is you are very, very gifted and very lucky. You should appreciate those moments and give thanks to the Great Spirit. Always realize that the power of the horse is a symbol of transcendence and a symbol of growth on the spiritual planes. And that if you have the horses coming to you, you are, in my esteem, one of the luckiest. This is the Bush Whisperer coming at you from the most beautiful, beautiful place in the world, the beautiful beach. I hope you have an absolutely gorgeous day. So much love. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.